So I've been seeing this topic pop up more and more lately, and I can admit I have seen African American women express loudly and openly that they don't really desire to be with an American man. They more so desire to be with African men. And based off of what I see, the main reason from what I see that most African American women want an African man is solely based off of the fact that they say things like, African men don't go 50-50. African men, they take care of their women. They don't believe in their woman like working. They shower women with riches and things of that nature. And I'm like, okay, what else is it that you like about African men? Like, is there anything else you like about them? Or do you only like them because you feel like you're going to, be taken care of financially? And, I know many women, I know African, and I'm not going to lie, their culture is a little different than ours. In the African culture, they have multiple wives. African men tend to have many women. And when I look into that, I'm like, the African American women who say these things, are they aware of that? But I don't think they care. I think it's solely based off of the fact that they just want an easier life. Who doesn't want an easier life? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's like, does love come into the picture, or is it just you want to just live this life of abundance and financial freedom? And to my African men, be careful, because these African American women are preying on you all, but they're preying on your resources.
Hello everybody, welcome once again to AfriPost. Today I want us to shift gears a little bit and go to the field of relationship. As Black people, as Africans, as African Americans, there are different cultural connotations that define and punctuate our love life. So I came across two videos here that some two sisters who are talking about their preference for African men, it's about comparing whether they love Black Americans or they love African men who come their way. People have been talking about Africans and African Americans in different ways. There are those who have said that, hey, African Americans are lazy, their people are not giving it all, and they are not ready to face life as it is. But to some extent, these people are just speaking out of stereotypes that are totally misplaced. Then there are those who say that, hey, Africans are strong. Those who come from Africa are hustlers. They are people who are driven towards achieving specific goals, and therefore this makes them quite attractive to women. So these ladies were talking and they were kind of giving their perspective. One was saying that Africans or African men who are coming from the African continent and going to United States are doing things excessively to an extent that they are able to lure and take over African American women from their fellow African American men. But then there is this other lady who says that for herself, she prefers Black man from Africa because this person from Africa is somebody who has done certain things that are manly things that define you to be a man. And if you look at African American men, they are people who are just there going to work, but having that manly physique, manly activities, it's something that is kind of limited. Take a listen to what these ladies were trying to say before we proceed with our discussion.
Is it just me, or have you noticed there's a huge difference in dating Black American men and African men? I like to think of myself as the honorary president of the Black American Princess Association, BAPA. And this is an official statement that Black American men need to get it together. I've noticed that in dating Black American men, it's so nonchalant. Like, you would think you are asking them a favor when they asked you to go out. It's almost like they've lost the art of courtship. There's no like, hey, let's go out to dinner, let's do this. It's always, let's chill. Or sometimes they'll even have the nerve to ask you for something before you've even gone out. Whereas dating African men, they will literally try to give you the world before you go out on a date with them. And they may have ulterior motives, I understand that. But at least they're taking the girlies to dinner, they have great jobs, and they literally are trying to prove themselves to you. Whether it's for their own ego or not, you're gonna have a good time. I don't know. I just feel like these African men are coming to y'all's country, Black American men, and taking your jobs and stealing your women. Like, if you guys really love Black queens as much as you say you do, you're gonna have to step it up because y'all are losing on your own home field.
Can I say something quickly? Do you know why I like African men more in terms of like my taste? Because culturally, the same way that you're saying when you go outside the West, when I go outside the West, I'm more likely to find your average guy as an African man who has done a lot more manly things. The men in the West, actually, they are a bit soft in the sense of, yeah, you can go make your money and have a career, but being a man is more than the money in your pocket. So actually, the problem goes both ways. There's a lot of men that are not doing what they're meant to do as naturally masculine men.
Yes, now this is a question I have to pose to my African American men. What is your opinion about the comments that these ladies have made? Because for me, I'm left speechless, because how do you define that an African man has done manly things that can make you now not prefer them? How do you decide, or what really gives you that ability to decide that an African man has done manly things that define him as a man compared to African American men? Because for me, I believe that the challenges and the issues that men go through outside here, to a larger extent, they are similar. Okay, there could be a difference in terms of geographical differences, where people come from, and therefore the kind of activities, the issues, the work that people do are totally different. But then people are adapted to the kind of environments that they're supposed to have. So how is it possible that a lady can decide to say that this person has done manly things and therefore he's kind of my man, type of man? This other person has not done manly things, so he's not my kind of man. So I don't know how this lady arrived to this kind of conclusion, because it is quite surprising for me. Tell me down in the comment section, what's your opinion about this? Do you think you've not, as an African American man, do you think you've not done manly things that could easily define you as a man, or can make you have that stature and feel that you are man enough to take up responsibilities of a man and handle issues that are manly to a larger extent? Now let's go back to the other lady who was kind of saying that African men have come to United States, and what they do to our ladies in United States, or African American ladies, are things that an African American man cannot do. I also call for your opinion, my brothers and sisters, specifically my brothers there, because you have been attacked here. This lady is saying that Africans are coming over to United States and they're taking over your jobs. They're also taking over your ladies. What's your stand here? Because for me, I believe that in this field of dating, it is always about choices and preferences. There is that person who is going to come and he's going to say that, for me, I prefer this kind of a person. This is the taste that I have. This is the person that I want to have. How is it going to be that you're going to decide that I am not going to pick up this person and I'm going to live with this other person? But one thing that has been said, and I think many people have been talking about here, is the fact that African Americans are people who understand the nature and the demands that some African American ladies have, and therefore they would prefer not having them as their girlfriends or even their wives. And that is why many of them, as they say, are going towards Caucasians, because they find that African American ladies have higher demands that it's very difficult to meet in these economic times. One person was kind of telling me that African American ladies have put their demands high. There are people who are they are ready to eat what you have, they are ready to share with you what you have, but they don't want to go and work themselves out. I don't know whether this is the true position. My sisters in the United States, African American sisters, you can tell me your opinion there, because it's all about chaos here. For us, what we hear about you, what we get, and what we understand about the situations that are going on there is that African American ladies are too expensive to manage. They are too difficult to handle, because most of them are swept by this issue of feminism, and therefore they are totally woke. They are people who believe in certain rights and they do not want to do other things. Another male friend of mine was saying that African American ladies are people who cannot even clean. They cannot cook for you. So how are you going to put them down and have them as your wives or even as your girlfriends? This is a question that is very contentious for me. I don't know what you guys are thinking when it comes to these issues, because the other lady is saying that African American men are not ready to do more that pleases their female counterparts. And that is why when an African man comes, they will give you everything. They will promise you and give you heaven. And to a higher extent, this lady, African American lady, will go and date an African man as opposed to dating an African American man who is not willing to go beyond certain limits. And for me, I think that, it's just a matter of preferences, because if you look at the question about African Americans and how they have been relating with each other, when you meet a new person, as they always say, that diversity is always something that is good, and therefore, if you meet a different person, if you've continuously dated people from this ethnicity, when you meet a new person who is attractive and willing to settle down with you, you will go there because it's a breath of fresh air. So I don't know what your opinion is when it comes to this issue, but I believe African American ladies should understand their African American men. And I want to dissuade you from thinking that Africans coming to United States have come to take up opportunities, jobs, and even your women. That is not the truth. The question about love is not about conquering a place. It's about preferences and also about choices and how somebody feels about a certain person. So it's not like people in Africa have sat down and decided that we are going to go to United States and we're going to take up all these women, all these black, beautiful African Americans, and leave our African American brothers without any ladies. So that is it, as I think from my side. I don't know what you think, because it's a really heated debate that has been going on with some of my friends. You could also share your opinion here, and let's hear what you think about this situation. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and also share. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless you. Bye.